Hello again everyone, the Snowman here, and today I've got another tennis tournament preview, the Italian Open in Rome. I'm going to be looking at the men's draw today. Women, though, are also in Rome, and just a couple of weeks until everyone will be together in Paris for the French Open as we make this switch from hard court to clay. So let's dive into this Masters 1000 draw in Rome. And as we pull up section 1 of the draw in Rome now, a few big name players not going to be participating at this event, notably no Roger Federer, who is still injured. We also don't have Dominic Thiem or Alexander Zverev, those two youngsters playing in the US Open final against one another. They'll be the first Grand Slam champion on the men's side to be born in the 1990s. Also, one of those two players will be the first new major winner on the men's side since the 2014 US Open when Marin Cilic won that event. So some exciting things happening in New York right now. We also don't have Daniil Medvedev in Rome because of his long run at Flushing Meadows. We do have, however, both Novak and Rafa, and for Djokovic, he's now 26-0 on the year, but that perfect mark is a bit blemished because of the default at the US Open. And in my opinion, Djokovic, he just seemed a little bit unhinged, a little off, was very visibly frustrated the first few rounds, more than usual. Of course, that all culminated in his match against Pablo Carreño Busta when he got broken to go down 6-5 in the first set and then hit the linesperson in the throat with the ball in some frustration there. So Djokovic was disqualified from the US Open. How will he respond? What will his mental response be like? I think the combination of the pressure of that tournament, though, not having Roger or Rafa at that event, he really felt the need to get that Grand Slam as he's chasing Roger and Rafa and their Grand Slam totals. I bet he felt a lot of pressure. Also, the combo, though, of that and not having his family with him. All players were only allowed 3 guests in the New York bubble. So Novak, for whatever reason, he just seemed a little bit off, but we'll see if he can kind of regain his mojo at this event in Rome. The other top seed in Section 1 is Gael Monfils. He's one of many players who decided not to travel to New York due to COVID and health concerns. Players like Monfils, Rafa Nadal, Stan Wawrinka, Fabio Fanini as well. So Monfils played it safe, but we know about the Frenchman's shot-making prowess, his ability to defend, especially on clay. And it's a tough draw for Monfils. He could play Alex de Minaur in the second round, the young Aussie coming off his first trip to the quarterfinals at the US Open, so he knows a little bit about how to defend as well. And we could get Gael against his good buddy Stan Wawrinka in the third round. I want to talk about Stan real quick because while most of the tour has been in New York, Stan's just been grinding on the clay. He's played a couple of challenger events, including winning a title in Prague, and he's now 15 in the world, his highest ranking since March of 2018. I think he's fully recovered from that knee surgery a couple of years ago, so watch out for Stan, not just in Rome, but at the French Open in a couple of weeks as well. One other big name in this section then, Kei Nishikori, who's coming off his first match of the year last week, lost in 3 tough sets to Miomir Kecmanovic in Kitzbühel, but we'll see if Nishikori can shake off the rust. He also tested positive a few weeks ago, was able to prevent him to participating at the US Open. Overall, it's a loaded first section. I'm also looking at names like Filip Krajinovic against Felix Auger-Aliassime in the first round. That could go either way. I would lean towards the young Canadian, though. He just continues to keep ascending up the ranks. Section number 2, then, is a super wide open section. You see the effects here of not having players like Thiem, Zverev, or Medvedev in Rome, and the top seeds here, Matteo Berrettini and David Goffin. Berrettini's got to be disappointed at his US Open result, losing to Andrei Rublev in the 4th round. The Italian was serving so well that event. The first 3 rounds wasn't broken a single time, but I'd like to see Berrettini add more variety to his game. I think his power has been able to help him become a top 10 player in the world, but to get to that next level, he's going to have to add more variety, better defense, better skills at the net as well. We've got some other big hitters in this quarter, players like Taylor Fritz, Karen Khachanov, Marin Cilic, Nicolas Basilashvili. Again, heavy thumping hitters, but maybe the best first round matchup in Rome is going to be Borna Coric against the number 14 seed Cristian Garin. And they've already met on clay this year in Rio de Janeiro. It was an extremely physical match, which Garin won 6-4, 7-5. And Garin, the Chilean, he went on to win the event, and I kind of like him in this matchup. He's a top 20 player in the rankings, mostly because of his prowess on clay. Not just that Rio title in February for Garin, but he also won a title in Cordoba, Argentina, defeating Diego Schwartzman in the final there. And he just fights for every point, dictates with his forehand, particularly likes to hit that inside-in forehand. He could be a future French Open finalist, though, as far as I'm concerned. Still only 24 years of age. So I really like his future. Coric is in great form. Another solid baseliner as well. He upset Stefanos Tsitsipas at the U.S. Open. And I expect an awesome battle of attrition in that first round game. And speaking of the Greek, he is the 3 seed here in Rome. And I'm very interested to see him. You know, I spoke about Djokovic. What will his mental response to his New York meltdown be? But Tsitsipas coming off a similar debacle at the U.S. Open. He was up 2-1 against Borna Coric in the third round and up 5-1 then in the fourth set before blowing 6 match points. Coric rolls off 6 consecutive games, and Tsitsipas ends up losing in a 5th set tiebreaker. So what's it going to be like for Tsitsipas? How does he kind of hit the reset button and get back going again? We also have the 8 seed Fabio Fanini in this section, and Fanini, he hasn't played much this year, but clay is probably his best surface. He won his first Masters 1000 title last year at Monte Carlo. A shocking run to that title, actually. He beat Rublev, Alexander Zverev, Coric, and Rafa. So I think if he's serving well, he can make a run. An excellent shot maker is Fonini. I actually think Fonini gets out of this section, though. We've also got some interesting floaters in this quarter, the likes of Kevin Anderson. He could be meeting up with the Italian in the second round. Mirmir Kecmanovic is closing in on his first career ATP title, perhaps on the red clay in Kitzbühel, Austria, and a very entertaining first-round matchup between Benoit Paire and Jannik Sinner. Paire is coming off recently testing positive for COVID-19 in the New York bubble, so he was not allowed to play at the U.S. Open, but we know about Paire's eclectic game. Sinner, on the other hand, only 19 years of age, but a very mature playing style, very powerful off of both wings, a solid touch at the net as well, and he likes playing on the clay. He's coming off a brutal loss to Karen Khachanov at the U.S. Open, though. That is Sinner, where he lost a 2-set lead, so he will be disappointed in that. But if you like in the Garin-Coric match up to a bloodbath, this game between Paire and Sinner could be a high-octane shootout. Finally, to section number 4, and I really like this quarter for Rafa Nadal, of course, the king of clay, and kind of a down year by his standards on clay last season. He was just a meager 21-3, did have losses to Fonini, Thiem, and Tsitsipas. Still, though, managed to win this event in Rome last season, a record 9th time. Also grabbed his 12th French Open title. So Nadal, he's been resting. This is his first tournament back since actually in February, where he won a hardcourt tournament in Acapulco, Mexico. I'm sure Nadal, though, is excited to get back on the court. He's been training like a madman, I'm sure. Decent second-round matchup, though, for him against Pablo Carreño Busta. Quick shout out to Carreño Busta, who's coming off his second career Grand Slam semifinal in New York. Did lose a 2-set-to-love lead against Alexander Zverev, but PCB was playing some excellent tennis, just so solid from the baseline, not making many mistakes, and taking a few more chances with his forehand up the line as well. So that's not going to be a gimme in the second round for Nadal. It could also be Diego Schwartzman in the quarters for Rafa. And Schwartzman, he does have 2 of his 3 career titles on clay. He's won in Istanbul and a 500-level event in Rio de Janeiro, but he's going to have to shake off the demons just like Tsitsipas, just like Djokovic. Schwartzman, another guy who lost a big lead, 2 sets up against the Brit Cam Norrie. So Schwartzman, sometimes it's tough for him because he doesn't get many free points off of his serve. He has to grind through every point, and we'll see. But he likes to play on clay. Again, a great defender. So that could be the quarterfinal matchup for Rafa. Hubert Hurkacz, a great clay quarter as well as in this section. Milos Raonic was upset in New York by a fellow countryman, Vasek Pospisil. Clay is not the missile's favorite surface, and you also see Andrei Rublev in here as well. Overall, though, I'm very excited for Rome. I picked my 4 semifinalists as Djokovic in that first section. Then I'm going with Christian Garin, Fabio Fanini, and Nadal as well. I think Nadal picks up where he left off in February and wins this event. Let me know who you've got winning in Rome, though. If you enjoyed this video or found it informational, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more tennis content. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back soon. Cheers.